Soy Goy, Baljatetor, Narvode, and welcome to the Way of the Mandalore Religious Movements podcast. For some reason, I just haven't been starting out with that, and I feel like we should actually announce that that's what we're a part of. So I'm going to start adding that to our entrances.
Oh, have you been forgetting to add that?
I don't remember actually ever saying it, that we're actually a part of the religious movement.
At least not at the beginning, because I know we talked about it at the end, at least, or
Yeah,
throughout the thing.
well, I know we talk about the guild and supporting us, but we don't say what they're supporting.
That's fair.
We just say, if you want to support us, go to these things. But we don't tell them what they're supporting. So I figured I'd change that.
Yeah, you have a point.
And for some reason, my Chrome is still not wanting to open up. I may have to do a restart on the computer. I need to sneeze.
Bless you.
I'm allergic to bullshit, and it must be deep in here.
I mean,
So today's
Firefox best.
topic, like we were just talking about, is going to be Tracy'uurs, or our favorite pew pew, with basic maintenance, proper storage, and I think that's also going to include the concealed carry and the open carry differences between storing and carrying.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for some reason, Chrome is not opening up. So if someone else would like to start us out, that would be great while I figure out what is going on here.
Real quick, what are you needing Chrome for exactly?
Just whatever I might need to open up.
Oh, okay.
Nothing in specific.
Well, I mean, I guess I can start us off with proper maintenance. I mean, I know we've gone over minor maintenance, more or less, of one's Tracy'uur being of basically a field cleaning where you take your Tracy'uur, pull the mag out, or if you're using a revolver, remove the rounds from the cylinder. Rack the slide a few times, make sure it's good and clear. Lock it to the back if you can to visually check. Once you do that, usually there's a way to remove the upper slide from the lower slide. In regards to revolvers, they usually have a way to remove the cylinder from its housing. I haven't messed with a revolver in quite a while, so I do not remember off the top of my head how to do that exactly. As for semi-automatic guns, I personally had a CCW P250 Defender, so I'm going to be using that as the example. If anybody has a Glock, I will let you speak up after on that takedown because, oh boy, is that a fun thing to.
Actually, speaking of which, I'm going to go get mine out of the car. I've got a Ruger SR9 that needs to get cleaned. So this might be a good day to do that.
Yes, you could do a step-by-step follow along.
Yeah. And in the meantime, I'm also going to restart my PC. So you'll hear me go out, and then I'll be back in shortly.
Okay, so while you're gone, talking about all the shit we want. Got it.
Yep. And I won't know shit until I never listen to this episode.
Oh, you say that. You know you come back every now and then. But for the 6-hour P250 Defender, and I can also go into a 1911 for part of it as well, being I have done a field strip of one of those as too. But for the P2 250 Defender, you kind of have to pull the slide back a bit because there is a little swivel lever on the left side of the gun that has a channel that it travels through in regards to its locking pin. That
With
hmm?
there are firearms that do exist, especially in the 6 hour lineup of models, to
Hmm.
where they require full slide lock to engage before you can actually m- like do do the lever to unlock from the front slide post.
Yeah, that wasn't the case with the 250.
With the P320, and I think the P20 226 is are similar in that regard to where you engage the slide lock and then you can do the lever.
Hmm. Yeah, keep in mind, each firearm is going to be different. There are some models that are similar in breakdown to others. I know anything that's, for the most part, based off of the AR platform is going to have a very similar breakdown from each model to model as far as the basics are concerned. Um, I believe shotguns, except for some of the more exotic ones, kind of break down very similarly to one another.
Yeah, if it's a pump action or an elevator style, it's going to be kind of similar because there's not many parts that you take like out of the gun
Hmm.
to maintain the it's shotguns are pretty simple as long as you don't get too exotic. So like Mossberg all the way down to like Daniel Defense or like Arms Corps, shotguns. It's all going to be pretty much the same as long as it's not doing something too fancy.
Hmm.
Alright, so I am back, but I cannot seem to find my cleaning solutions and stuff.
No, no.
Oh, shame! It
Right.
gives you an excuse to go to Academy.
Oh,
I was thinking
actually,
Amazon.
you know, saying that,
But the good news is my Chrome is now working after that restart.
you know, that made me think. I'm kind of jumping the gun here. Yes, pun intended. After thinking about that, um, the tools you will need to clean your Tracy'uurs, whether it be long arm or sidearm, are going to be a soft metal wire cleaning rod kit. Mm, that gun cocking SMR.
Right.
Um, a good ramrod, the proper
Particularly
size.
for the longer ones.
Hmm.
Particularly for long,
Hmm.
you get away with a paper towel or something for sidearm.
Well, the ramrods usually double up in regards to the wire brushes being used
Right.
for cleaning the buildup. Um,
And for those playing along at home, you want a copper or a brass brush or like a bristle brush.
yes.
Um, Anything harder can permanently hit the inside of your barrel
Hmm.
or mess up the finish pretty good on the outside. So it's like don't use any steel or higher hardness
Yeah,
metals.
you want a soft metal like copper or brass brushes. They're still going to give a little bit of scuffing
But you can
to.
just buff it out with your finger or with
Mhm.
a cotton.
Yeah. Um, Now keep in mind, make sure when you're cleaning your gun, if you're doing and I'm going to get this out there right now, because I just remembered a video that was posted in our Discord server about a week ago where a person had a Smith & Wesson 500, which is the 50 caliber of revolvers basically. And he was doing everything safe. His finger was off the trigger, but and now granted I don't agree that he was pulling the hammer back when he did and all that, but when he did, the hammer would not lock to the rear and would go off because the sear had been polished so much that it was not catching properly and holding. Do not over polish your sears or any parts.
Don't over lube it either.
Yeah, don't
There is
over.
such thing as over lubing.
Lubing can cause jams, more so than misfires.
So the rule about keeping your components clean is for the AR style and
Long
other
arms.
firearms that you can, yeah, and other long arms that you can remove the firing action from the gun. If you handle it and then as soon as you put it down, your fingertips are slightly wet afterwards, that is a good place. If it's dry after, put a little bit more COP. If it's dripping wet, put some back into the bottle.
Mm-hmm. So you'll want a hand, like a toothbrush wire, soft brass or copper brush. You'll want a toothbrush, no stronger than a medium bristles, because while they are synthetic, the hard, stiff bristles are not preferred. Um, you'll want your cleaning rods, whether they be synthetic rods or the metal brass or copper wire rods for cleaning the inside of the barrel. You'll
Uh,
want.
Speaking of cleaning inside the barrel, if your range bag won't necessarily enjoy carrying a ramrod kit, you can get a bore snake and just do it that way.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. um, Once you've got the hard cleaning tools, you may, depending on your gun, you may need a small mallet. Use a rubber mallet, not a metal one, please.
I'm I'm gonna put this segue in there. If you only have metal hammers, use something between that to protect your firearm.
They make brass punches and they are very useful.
They're good for knocking out the pins on AR platforms and similar styles. Um,
Yeah. But just saying, not everybody can go out and just get a rubber hammer, even though it is a preferred.
well, you don't need something so big like your normal like carpenter's hammer. You just need a small
And
little hammer that
Yeah.
can get a little bit of backside into it. Um, Once you've got those and possible punch, um, you'll want to get something that's like cleaning cloths. What I would, what me and my dad would use growing up was he bought a cheap bag. It was like $1 for this big, huge thing of like old shirt cloth, like the white t-shirt kind of cloths that easily make small little patches for cleaning purposes. They do well for your pre-wipe down, your after wipe down, um, inside, outside, getting into allowing you to get your finger into grooves and clean where other tools can't, to wipe up all the gunk. Paper towels also help work, though when using those, use a light grip or touch with them because you don't want any of the paper towel's residue to be left on your Tracy'uurs. They ignite quite easily.
Yeah, ideally, if you don't want to leave residue, newspaper works wonders because it has that finer,
Pith.
it's just softer and doesn't leave any paper residue because it's technically classified as a fiber.
I
Look,
know.
if you guys just want no residue on your handguns and on your guns in general, take step one, take whole gun, stick it in barrel of oil, pull it out, it's clean.
Do not listen to Aruhutun, who is clearly
It must
drunk.
be vegetable oil. It must be vegetable oil.
That is cast iron, not Tracy'uurs.
Are you saying my fucking Taurus G3C is not made of cast iron?
Yes,
did-
that's
I-
indeed what we are
I-
saying.
I'm not gonna lie, I have that exact same gun.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that that is
not a way to clean it.
That is not a way to clean it, and I'm pretty sure that has, as scary as it sounds, with the reputation that Taurus has, it would not. It does not surprise me if doing that would still have it work just perfectly fine, if not better than out of the box, brand new.
Oh, 100%. Like this thing has a bent recoil spring, and it still works.
I'll say this.
Question: wouldn't a mechanic rag be good to help clean it too?
I was just about to say, if you have
Yeah.
the extra funding and you can get your hands on the workshop paper towels that you can get at like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, or any automotive shop equivalent, those work phenomenal to lay down on a table or have as a mat while working on your Tracy'uurs.
So let me ask this: what brands do you guys prefer for your cleaning kits?
I like
Me
hops.
personally, I've used hops a lot myself, but there could be better or worse kits to go with.
The actual like ramrod brush kits, I really haven't had one that I prefer over others. It's more
like-
so the oils and those items that I have a particular for, and that is.
How do you guys feel about more snakes?
For me, hops has a bore snake, and I have the AR style all the way down to 9mm. I very much like their bore snakes and everything, but for as far as ramrods are concerned, I really love the U.S. general infantry ramrod set. Their little cleaning kit.
Mhm.
It is so useful and it saves a ton of space.
I won't lie, the actual standard issue army ones, military grade on that one is actually pretty good. Military grade usually
Here's what
a
you do
good
with the
turn.
here's what you do with the boar snake though. Take the entire boar snake, dip it in oil, call it a day.
Yeah, that's kind of what I didn't do with mine, and I regret it.
I'll say this: boar snakes, do make sure that you do not let them dry out. Bad things happen when you do that.
Yeah, mine is currently dried out.
Yeah, but put it in some oil.
Currently, it is 45 miles away from me.
I was gonna say, put it in some silicon-based oil at that.
No, I just make my
get
own
the
gun
lubricant
grease.
you find from the sex shop.
Oh god!
I said oil,
No,
not
I just-
lube.
I told you not to use the KY jelly on your AK.
Oh,
Okay.
how else am I supposed to get it up in the morning when I'm trying to clean my guns? Okay.
And thus we get banned.
Well, for him,
I was gonna
that
say.
has two purposes.
I was going to say, in regards to y'all talking about military grade and whatnot, yes, I laugh whenever I hear anything in the civilian world said to be military grade. However, when
There
it
are such
comes
things that are.
when it comes to things such as tools and cleaning supplies, good God, does the military not fuck around?
At all.
My dad, while working on a ship, did not learn till later on in his career that the shit they were using to clean, barehanded, no gloves whatsoever, was some of the most corrosive crap known to man, damn near, without being acid. And him and his
Shut up,
shipmates
dumbass.
would just take a rag, bare hand, dunk it in, wipe it down. Military don't play when it comes to making sure their shit works.
Right.
That is true because I learned
Now, when
that
it comes to
early on
actually
in my
making sure the
career.
shit is
I don't play
working, it
around with
takes a
those stuff.
minute to do.
Okay, guys, one at a time. Hoshi, you were saying something?
My bad.
Yeah, I've been in for 10 years. I learned that early in my career that stuff is corrosive. I don't touch it without gloves.
You kinda? Because there was nothing that could be heard between the two of you.
Honestly, I don't remember what I was saying now.
Something about a broken firing pin.
No, that's you, dumbass. Your
Yeah,
shabby cup.
says the one who puts the mag in backwards and uses a hammer.
No, I used a screwdriver to get it out. Oh, you mean when I was pushing? Yeah, I used the mallet. That was the rubber one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you use fire?
No, Aru
No,
Hutun is not
I
allowed to
realized that
have
I had it
fire.
in backwards and I had to pull it out.
Aru Hutun is not allowed to have fire.
I'm definitely not allowed to have that, but for other reasons.
But anyways, as far as cleaning kits go, I don't have a preference. However, if you can get your hands on one that the military used for if you're using like an AR, I believe they were using Glocks at one point. Basically anything for like 223, 45, 49, or no, I don't think they ever did 40 caliber as a sidearm, did they? They went 45 and then to 9mm.
That kind of thing is actually very interesting because it's actually company dependent. So
Really?
like for my dad, because he was in a mechanized air repair unit.
Mm-hmm.
He like all they used was the Taurus G2, I believe, and he still has his.
What caliber?
It's just straight up 9mm.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think once, for the most part, branches switched from the 1911 to the Beretta 9. I don't think they ever had a 40 caliber for the most part, unless it's some very special unit that decided, yeah, we want the stomping power, the middle ground of better stomping power, but we're okay with a little less capacity.
Yeah, that's actually the CIA's preferred thing because the Walter PPK, that MI6 and CIA used at the time came with a 40mm version,
Me
a
personally,
whole 5 bullets.
I think they're actually going to 6 now for the sidearms.
Yeah, they got the bid for the general infantry. I have the civilian version of that.
I believe it was the no, not the 230. The 230 was initially what they looked at, but it had discharge issues.
P320 is
Or
what they went
320,
with.
there you go.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the drop issues is what they first did, but the Gen 2 and the Gen 3s are what's actually important.
Mm-hmm.
and thankfully mine out of the box with the Gen 2, so I have dropped it many times.
Yeah, I personally stand by my 250.
All right, back
Yeah,
to
Anyways,
not a bad
back
thing. Yeah.
back to cleaning tools. If you can
well,
get your
let me
hand,
ask you this. I'm looking at. I obviously I gotta get myself a new cleaning kit because I have no fucking idea where mine went. What is your opinions on aluminum or brass rods? Not the brushes, the rods.
brass over aluminum.
That's kind of
Yeah.
what I was thinking, but it's almost a double in price.
The
So
real
Just for the same
aluminum,
shit.
the
the
only appeal of the aluminum is to save weight, and because it is a softer metal, if in case you kind of suck at operation, it doesn't necessarily mar with the rifling.
Because the kit, I'll just share my screen, make it a little bit easier.
hmm
What I'm looking at.
Here's the thing: a good judge of a good kit, price.
And see, the one that I'm looking at right now is a Hops Universal cleaning accessory kit, and it's priced at $25.23. List
hmm
price is $27, but it's got a 10% discount at the moment.
hmm
It's got brass brushes, so sport type, hunting, doesn't really matter what kind of sport type you're going for. A cleaning kit is going to be a cleaning
To,
kit.
to me, that just says, just look at the caliber, make sure it's got yours.
Right. So it's got a 3-piece universal aluminum cleaning rod. Includes 5 swabs and 4 slotted ends. That's going to be the
hmm
parts down here. Then it's got 9 phosphor aluminum brushes, which I'm assuming are going to be what I initially called brass.
Yeah.
When talking about like cleaning supplies and everything and methods of cleaning, I think eventually we should probably just do like a basic 101 on different platforms and how to clean them.
And then we've got this one, which looks like it's the
That's
same kit, but it just has brass rods instead.
that's what we're going to go over is a general kind of breakdown of handguns and long guns. We're just going over the tools and cleaning supplies at the moment.
Basic first.
Gotcha.
Mhm. Yeah, so you I would say if you're tight on money, because there are some kits that only have that are designed for strictly long gun or strictly handgun. Some are even strictly shotgun. Those ones tend to be a little more on the cheaper sides. I would say for a decent cleaning kit, find the one that has the calibers you're needing, and quite honestly, somewhere around $20 to $25 would be the minimum I would suggest spending.
Ooh, I kind of like this one. It's got the actual calibers next to the
Oh, that's
side.
nice. So you can actually tell like which one's which.
Right. Oh, except for I'm not seeing a 9 or a 357 in here.
Yeah, I don't see those either. What is that on the bottom right?
Oops.
What?
Right here.
No, above that. Because that's a slide in. Those ones, yeah. What are
I got
those?
no idea.
What material are those made out of? They look brass almost, like brass squeegees almost. But yeah, but when it comes to a cleaning kit, make sure it's got first off, make sure it's got your calibers. And then personally, 25 bucks I'd say would be the minimum I personally would.
Oh, apparently it's even got the caliber stamped on it.
Oh, that's helpful.
Okay, they're called brass jag. That piece you were asking about
Mm-hmm.
is called a jag. JAG.
I have no idea what that's used for. Honestly, I've never seen
You
that
know,
tool before.
I've only ever had to use the brushes. Okay, cotton mop. That's what that
Mm-hmm.
piece is. Got it.
That's good for if you
Over.
overlube the inside. Um, you can use that while still leaving a nice layer of lubrication on the inside. Because, quite personally, yes, a little bit of lube is okay on the inside of the barrel.
Yikes. This thing is.
The oil that I personally use is rim oil for rim oil gun cleaning.
All that's really going to happen if you have too much oil on the inside of your barrel is that as soon as it's going to get shot, it's just going to come out. That's why the appeal of a solvent trap is like a lot of people have a solvent trap, and just so when they clean their rifle, they fire a blank through, and
Nine.
it just blows out the rest of the gunk, and you get a nice even layer of carbon protecting your barrel.
This one actually
But the
looks like it's
ATF told me I can't use
deal.
solvent traps.
No, the ATF said you can't use solvent traps for what you want to use them for.
How do they know what I want to use them for?
Your name pops up on a registry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your name specifically says Aruhutun. No.
I'm assuming it would be his government name that would show up.
Obviously.
You know what? They probably have a dossier of all my fucking names, so.
Well, I mean, they do have a
There you
line.
go. Here,
They do have a line just for
Aru,
aliases.
here's for you to use, Aru.
Is that what I think it is?
Yo, is that for my. Never mind.
I was gonna say, is that for what I think it is, or is that actual like what we're talking about?
It looks like something you just insert.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say so, but yes, that's indeed what it looks
Yep,
like.
that's actually is exactly what it is. Nope. Yep. That's not the gun oil we're talking about. Nope.
No, you just put the tip in, give it a little squeeze, and you're good to go.
Oh, I'm sure you're good to go for something.
So, I mean, technically, for the people listening at home, you can make your own gun oil. All you really need is synthetic, and like car oil and car grease, both synthetic. Mix them to 2 parts oil to 1 part grease. It makes a fantastic little cleaner.
I've also been told, like for us in the colder climates, using deep creep is apparently a good solution for if you're out in the weather a lot.
But yeah,
I have yet to actually test it myself, to be honest, so please take that with a grain of salt, but like apparently deep creep works.
yeah, some of the things that we say are going to be third hand and not actually tested. That's not what we're needing. Is it?
Mine's my solutions are tested because it's what I use every day.
Oh no, I saw a bottle and I was like, that's not.
I just spit on my bolts and call it good.
What a really good COP you can have is some hops brand. I call it like frog slime.
Mm.
But it's really good. Like it has like a frog on the bottle, and of course it's hops brand.
Mm-hmm.
More of a lube than a cleaner, but it does both.
That's actually it's a 2-ounce bottle. That's why it's $6. I was like, God damn, that's cheap. Oh, look at the size of it.
But yeah, I use room oil because not only do they have the regular bottle, they also have nice little swatches that are like soaked in the rim oil that I use for cleaning down the exterior of the barrel and internals. to give a nice
Ugh, that's
coating.
nasty
Well,
looking.
that gun, that for sure needs love.
Yeah. I couldn't help but watch that video. Holy shit, that is a firearm that needed cleaned a while ago, but they probably dirtied it to that just to
show this.
yeah, because it probably looked like that before they did that.
I love how they're spraying the actual polymer because
Right.
it's that fucking gross.
And you can actually see the difference.
Right.
Like,
that's just nasty.
I'll be back in a moment.
What is that dude's name? It was like something Swift. That's a lot of damage.
Oh. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The flex tape dude, yeah. That's a lot of damage. Just to prove it, I'm gonna saw this fucking boat in half.
Right.
Gonna put the screen door on the bottom.
Then I'm gonna paint it.
One thing I would like to say in regards to cleaning your Tracy'uurs, in regards to our faith, the cleaning of one's Tracy'uur is something that basically is a ceremonious kind of thing. It falls under one of the tenets of taking care of our weapons, to respect the spirit of the tool, for it will protect it protects your life and the lives of those you are to protect. It is very much a rather spiritualist, well, wouldn't necessarily say spiritualistic thing, but definitely something that is a sort of ceremonious thing to keep in mind when cleaning your gun. Never, ever half-ass the cleaning of your Tracy'uur.
Correct.
Funny enough, I say all this with talking about how like the spirit of the Tracy'uur and all that protects us and everything. And it's going to be slightly low tangent, but for those nerds out there that are part of the Warhammer 40k fan base, the Mechanicus.
I was just gonna say, actually, like, should we look at the cleaning of our Tracy'uurs very much like a cleaning of its spirit?
Yes. Just like you shower your body at the end of a hard day's work to keep clean, fighting fit, and everything, that is what you are doing to your Tracy'uurs, and extends into calls as well, because you should properly maintain your calls or whatever arms you have as your EDC or emergency bug out situation, shit hits the fan kind of things, whether it be bows, crossbows, Tracy'uurs, calls.
The machine spirit requires IRA music.
It sounds weird. To some, it will sound crazy, and it sounds weird. However, as a technician, someone who has worked in IT, I cannot say how often giving something just a small little smack, or even saying some sweet, sweet words to it, has gotten the problem fixed. I cannot explain how or why it works. It just did.
That's why you're supposed to sleep with it. It's your wife.
I mean, if
Just
you're in the military, I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, in my case, it was because crackheads were besieging my house, but
most service members, if they're living in the barracks anyways, do not sleep with their rifle.
No, they do not. They do not get
then they need to step up their game, because I'm doing it right now.
Well, they can't, because Big Uncle Sam says no, that's got to be put in the armory.
Right.
Which makes absolutely no fucking sense to me when
How you supposed to sing it songs to sleep then? Jesus Christ.
Fort Hood is a prime example.
Fort Hood is too busy killing its own soldiers. Yeah.
That's my point in regards to it's stupid that our servicemen and women can't have their at least a sidearm to defend themselves.
I'm putting this in the simplest terms as possible. The military can sign out a $100 million, $80 million jet, but they can't have a microwave in their barracks because it's too dangerous.
I had one in my kitchen. I also had a stove, which, thinking back, probably was a mistake. Count. Yeah, but knowing my history...
Was it electric or open fire?
Does it really matter?
It's just the Army way. They'll let you sign out this multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, but you can't have a toaster or a microwave in your barracks room.
I mean, you've met you.
If you don't get caught.
Yeah, that's reminding me of a story that's made it throughout the branches and all over the world.
E4 Mafia, that's the motto, just don't get caught.
Well, when told to do something, the higher-ups have to specify, don't get caught. Because otherwise they will blatantly do it right in front of your face and say, fuck you, I'm doing this.
Right. In my neighborhood, we had similar rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My dad, when he had his tour over to Iraq, he was told to get extra ammunition. Despite whether don't ask, don't tell was in effect or not. You tell me to do something, I will get it done. Just don't ask how I did it. Because plausible deniability is your friend.
Up until the point when it's not.
You're not wrong on that one.
I'm going to say, when is plausible deniability not?
When you've got an $80 million jet missing.
It's a stealth fighter!
Oh, I see what you're referring to now, yeah.
And imagine being the pilot that had to go door to door. Help, I lost my jet.
And the fact that the autopilot...
I actually heard a 911 call from that.
Oh, yeah, that's out there.
Yeah, the 911 call from the guy that reported for an ambulance fight for the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that call. That was an interesting phone call.
I don't think they still... I have not heard that they found that jet, by the way. Anyways, back to gun cleaning.
Don't break your firing pins, unless you have a bullpup, in which case it's already broken.
Oh, no, it's not the firing pin that you're going to break on that. That's the trigger.
No. It's like the RDB, the Keltec one, almost explicitly works on munched up firing pins.
Funny enough, looking at that is like, that's actually a pretty cool design.
Because the interesting thing is like, because it's basically an AR-15 firing pin, it's literally the same fucking design. So my buddy has the RDB. He's had it for a while. It was his riot rifle. And so he found out that when we first took it apart to clean it after like 3+ years of it not being cleaned and it's working flawlessly, that the firing pin was broken in 3 places.
Oh, good Lord.
Lord.
And the reason why it kept working was because of what was housing, the way that the firing pin housing was modeled. It's still free floating. However, it's all contained. So it doesn't matter how many places it's broken. As long as it continues to hit the firing pin, it's going to push the rest of the pieces forward and still hit the fucking bullet.
Damn.
So it continues to work almost explicitly on broken firing pins.
So, Caltech,
and like it's just insane. So he bought like a pack of 10 of the firing pins, and he's like, "Well, I'll just keep replacing it if it keeps breaking." But like,
Might need to look into stronger firing pins.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like I guess I don't know what kind of ammunition he's putting it through. I don't even know if that would be something to take into consideration on breaking the firing pin. I don't know how widespread that issue is, but it's the only model I've seen from Kel-Tec regarding bullpups, and it's the only actual bullpup I've ever held and shot. And I can tell you, apparently, it just fucking works.
It glows in the fucking dark.
No, quite literally. That's that. It's sketchy as shit, but it keeps working, and I don't know how to feel about it. I wish my Glock was like that when I broke my firing pin.
But yeah, so another thing is have spare parts.
Especially springs.
Especially springs, because those are probably going to be the number one thing you lose if you do a complete teardown of your Tracy'uurs.
Especially with the longer. The more springs there are to lose, you're guaranteed to lose something.
And just because it goes back together fine and fires does not mean you did it right the first time.
Right.
Oh, you mean like my hammer situation where I put it on backwards?
Fires on the reset. That's not
right. Everybody stopped firing at once. As soon as my girl told me that, everybody stopped firing and just looked at her gun.
Yeah, if that's happening, stop and put the gun down. Take out the ammunition from it as soon as possible.
Right.
We're just gonna put this on the ground and just walk away from it.
We're just gonna back the fuck up now. Yeah. Might help if I put the mags.
And they are mags, not clips.
The clips are the little metal pieces that hold the rounds in the box.
Having a spare parts kit, having a good what would it be, like a degreaser? I know that's not the word I'm looking for. Something like a solvent of sorts so that you can actually break down the built-up carbon. Because while stuff like rim oil and whatnot is good for lubricating, you don't really want to use it for the actual cleaning. You want to make sure...
That was another thing. What about carbon picks? I mean, I know it's a thing in mechanics. Is it a thing in firearms?
To a degree. A pick is good for getting into small crevices of the frame if you're trying to do a really, really deep clean of it. Just be very careful when using them. I would honestly recommend kind of blunting the tip a bit to make it to where it's not as sharp.
Don't be like a dentist and just start gouging the shit out of your gums.
Yeah, you want... I know for some people it's hard to do this, but you want to make sure to have a fairly steady hand and control if you're using a pick to clean. Typically, that's why I say have a toothbrush, because the bristles can kind of get into those small crevices. But I know that there are some areas that aren't able to get in with the toothbrush's bulkiness, in which case a small pick can work. Just do your best to be very, very careful when scraping at the frame or upper slide or wherever it is that you're using. These are highly engineered pieces of equipment. They have metric standards that are probably higher wiggle room or lower wiggle room allowed than your automotive vehicles. And let me tell you this, working in the automotive field, those wiggle rooms are actually quite big. The whole plus or minus range can be quite big for automotive parts. However,
So proceed with caution. Gotcha.
very much so. With cleaning the Tracy'uurs, your standard breakdown of a sidearm handgun is removing the slide, upper slide from the lower receiver, removing the barrel, recoil spring, recoil rod, I believe is what it's called, that the spring sits on. Obviously, taking the mag out before all that.
Magazine should be the first thing you remove.
Well, yes. First and foremost, always clear the Tracy'uur on any of these, handgun, long arm, shotgun, any of them. Once you have it broken down that far, if you're going to do a deep clean, do it at your own risk. Take pictures is the best thing I can say. If you don't know what you're doing, I highly recommend looking to see if a gunsmith in your area will do a teaching class. Because I know some gunsmiths out there do have those. I know there is an online gunsmithing course that people can take, because I am looking into that myself.
Please don't do the SDI intro.
The what?
SDI?
Yeah, like don't like segueing into an SDI fucking sponsorship. I swear to God, I've heard so many of those.
I am not. No.
Raid Shadow Legends!
USCCA.
No. I do not sponsor anybody that is not paying me.
And right now, the podcast is not sponsored by anything.
Nope.
Well, I realize that, but like, I've been traumatized by the amount of SDI I've heard.
I'm sorry, did you just say trauma or trauma?
Traumatized. Been traumatized. I drank a lot, okay?
I've been traumatized.
Yeah, that's how I fucking feel on the inside.
Anyways, no, I am not advocating for any class or anything specifically. I'm just stating that there is one that I am looking into that is online that they state can be that they have the regulations to even certify you as a gunsmith.
Sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Fuck.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Fuck Raid Shadow Legends. It's this fucking.
That is YouTube gospel, and you know it.
I know so many people that Raid has reached out to that they're like, "Fuck you! Stop trying to give me your money. I do not like your game. I hate your game. Fuck you."
I haven't played it. Never will.
Nope.
It's just I find the weirdest people that they sponsor too, and it's like, really?
Yeah, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
10-foot cleaning rod.
I agree with that one.
I've also noticed that there has been a number of channels that have finally figured out that maybe carry insurance wasn't the best deal.
Wait, what?
Check out Heavy Duty Country's thing on USCCA.
Care?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
You said care insurance?
Carry insurance.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
whatever that other one is that I don't fucking listen to.
U.S. Law Shield. There was U.S. CCA, and then
Law
there's
Shield had a lawsuit against them a couple years back for their practice methods.
yeah. It is an insurance company just like any other. So like,
Oh no, their method was that they would sit on like CHL classes, and like during a quote unquote break, they would give their sales pitch to try to get people to sign up with them. That's
interesting.
That's a no-no
Yeah.
because the people aren't there for that. But it's basically you have sort of a somewhat hostage situation, more or less, in a business sense. You have a captive audience.
Isn't that what I have on a
Yeah,
daily
I do
basis?
agree.
Yeah, but you're getting paid to be where you're at.
I'm slowly bringing the Venezuelans to become Americans little by little. Don't you worry.
Anyways, I'm not going to touch politics.
Nope,
Um,
not something we talk about here.
we are not about politics in the faith. We do not care what side of the aisle you are on, or any of that.
Side.
But I mean, cleaning your guns is, paramount, especially for the lamest jihad day on fucking planet Earth. Fucking super disappointing, by the way.
I live in the ghetto. I wish they would have fucking tried.
I live in a small town. Enough said.
Try that in a small town.
I'll say that. I will say this. When it comes to that song, I find it fucking stupid that people were like, "Oh, that's racist.
Right.
That's racist." I'm like, how the fuck is that racist?
I prefer my racism in Tom McDonald songs. Okay.
Okay, we're not going there.
Try that in a small town. See what I did there?
We are not going there. Anyways, can y'all think of any other tools? Cotton swabs, like Q-tips, could be added.
Q-tips are a great investment.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily say that they are required.
They certainly fucking help.
But they definitely do help for some of the smaller grooves.
What about pipe cleaner?
Pipe cleaners do help.
Depends on the pipe cleaner you're talking about. Forgetting the arts and craftsy ones, no.
I mean, like the ones the military use to clean all their weapons.
Well, I mean, that's standard issue in the gun cleaning kit.
Okay, now why?
I just use a toilet plunger and call it a day.
You let yours soak in the vat of oil.
I do let it soak in the vat of oil.
And then you let it hang it up to drain for a week.
Yep, I let it drain out the barrel and or mag well.
Oh God.
Anyways,
I know we don't answer to him, but holy shit! Oh God, what did you just say?
I don't know if you're serious or not.
I do that. I'm not kidding. I lubricate the shit out of everything and then I let it like drip dry.
Okay, yeah, that part he's serious about. We're joking about the vat of oil, bro. And thing is,
hey, we already found out gasoline in firearms doesn't actually make it go kablooey because it's an accelerant and an accelerant, not an explosive.
Well, plus gasoline evaporates rather quickly once used anyways.
Yeah.
Or at least when it's exposed to air, it becomes it evaporates, vaporizes very quickly.
But yeah, dripping out the mag well is A-okay in my book.
I mean, you're not the first person I've heard that, nor will you probably be the last. I personally do not stand by that.
You do go through a lot of oil, though.
I was going to say, I personally do not stand by that.
I'm hearing about it.
All right, so I got a bit of a concern. So I'm over here. I put my pistol back together. I rack it to put it back on safe. Safe doesn't go up, and the trigger's all the way back.
What gun is it?
Ruger SR9. This is the first time this has happened to me.
Did you put a
Oh,
spring
don't
on
worry. It happens
backwards?
to every dude.
Did you put a spring on backwards?
No, I didn't take any springs out.
You put the firing pin in wrong.
I did not. All I did was take the barrel out and clean that.
You're gonna probably have to show us
Yeah.
the piece later.
You're gonna have to
Did
put
a
that on
spring-
webcam
Did
then.
spring just
All right, hold on. Let me see if I
did
can
a
get that.
spring just like magically just fall out without you knowing?
Oh, there we go.
I was about to
Camera.
ask that actually. Is like, did a spring fly out without you
No.
realizing?
So here's the.
And that's
I
like the
didn't- I didn't tear
full-size
it-
Security 9 model, right?
Yeah, full size,
Mhm.
not compact, not a SR9C. But all I did, so I tore it down to this part.
Yep.
Here's the retainer.
Mhm.
Yep.
Took my spring out.
Mhm.
Took the barrel out. And
Yep.
this is as far as I went down and cleaned it. Put it back together.
Mhm.
And before I put the retention pin back in, you notice trigger's all the way back.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now I can push that and trigger goes out.
Mhm.
The slide is supposed to push it back anyways, though, right? When
This?
you're first putting it back on?
No, it'll slide right over it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All the way back.
And I'm assuming this is kind of similar to the Security 9 where you have to have it semi-open while you're putting that safety pin back in?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
P250 Defender's the same way.
That's actually not a bad-looking model. I actually like that a lot.
So that's fully back assembled.
Mhm.
And then your
And-
safety's all the way in the back.
Yeah, safety is right here.
Okay. And it's not staying up, or
No,
Okay.
so remember I had I had pushed that forward to
Mhm.
show you the
Right.
going forward. I can manually push the thing back, but for whatever reason, just racking it
Interesting.
does not push that back anymore. Now, if
I'm
I
back.
do, you do see I have a Freedom Seed
What model is it?
SR9. So for reference, I now have a loaded magazine in it, just for. I don't know why I'm looking this way when the camera is right here. I guess because Discord's right here. That's the reason. I'm actually looking at Discord when I'm talking like that. So you can see I have a loaded magazine.
Yeah, shove it in there.
I don't know if you caught that or not, but when the round went in, you can see the thing is up. It pushed the trigger forward,
Right.
and safety now goes all the way up.
Maybe has it previously done it without a loaded round in it?
I don't know, to be honest.
Is this a relatively new gun for you?
No, I've had this for years. I've had
Okay.
this. When did I buy this? I want to say back in like 2015, 2013, 14. This is my first big caliber. My first pistol ever was a Sig Sauer 1911 22.
Because the only thing I would think of
apparently-
would be the safety lever.
Apparently, there was a recall
When?
This was Ruger. I'm not sure when, but let's see. Original trigger group, pistol needs retrofit. New trigger group, pistol does not need retrofit. Let's see. How to determine if your pistol needs the retrofit? Okay, yours would not.
How do you know that?
Because this is apparently with the original trigger group that doesn't have the little safety dongle thingy.
Oh, this little thingy?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's a feature, not a bug.
It could be a feature.
Yeah, but whenever I've done that before, like if I take this little airsoft one.
We're using the airsoft as comparison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, let me go get my...
Is the SR9 also hammer fired?
No.
Interesting.
It's got the pin down here. So let me go get my 1911 real quick.
See, that's really weird. I know there's a few guns that have like the dead trigger feature.
Mm-hmm. Basically, unless there's a round that goes in.
Right, but most of them, like, Glock will have a dead trigger until you at least pull the slide back if you have no round in it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, like, my Taurus will have I forget what the actual terminology is, but, like, the trigger isn't ever dead. You can still pull on it. It'll still make the click. I think that's like a double signal action, if that's what it's called.
All right, so no magazine in it.
Desk pop, go!
Actually, without magazine, it won't even let me dry fire. So
Interesting.
Let me go get the empty magazine real quick.
Yeah,
It's all fun and games until you have a desk pop.
And it's a
That
sport.
moment when you don't keep all your guns by your desk.
See, for the most part, I'm finding the SR9C triggers not resetting is what everyone keeps talking about for some reason.
I can't imagine it wouldn't also be an issue with the full-size model, though, either. I mean, as long as, like, I guess the thing is, like, as long as it cycles and it keeps cycling and the trigger doesn't do that when there's a loaded round, then it's probably just a feature. But if it's doing that at the range, then we have a problem.
Unloaded magazine. And for reference.
That's a 1911, though.
Yeah, no, you can see no round in there.
Mm-hmm. Are you left-handed?
I am left-handed, actually.
He's wrong-handed. Oh, no.
Hey.
Left-handed supremacy for the win.
Hey.
That makes 4.
Rule 1.
I pointed it at a camera, not a person.
He was willing to destroy the camera.
Right.
As I am currently willing to destroy my computer monitor.
Yes.
No, the camera is above the monitor. This is a
portable.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me puke.
Boom.
Anyways.
Hey, look, there's a puppy behind me.
Yeah, they're just chilling. They said it's time for bed.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is a cute harness.
Oh, yeah, that's the girlfriend's dog, actually. The little one behind me is mine.
Mm-hmm. You got her little tech vest?
No, I haven't gotten her one yet.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the girlfriend's dog.
Oh, that dog's on their own.
One's going to do the same thing that one is because it's got a different trigger system to it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not normal for this one. I used to be able to just dry rack it and put it on safe.
Mm.
I'm wondering if it's a spring issue then.
And see, I did accidentally do that when I had it out, like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not seeing. The spring is still good. It's still attached to where it's supposed to be.
Could it be something in the slide fell out that normally catches and whatnot?
I don't believe so. Because, like I said, I didn't take anything out of the slide except for this piece
Mm-hmm.
and this.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Could something have fallen out when you did all that?
Does the firing pin assembly still have that little catch hanging down?
What do you mean?
The piece that's supposed to
The sear?
catch and pull back, yeah. Yeah, it's still there. Okay.
That I can almost confidently say that that's not the part that would be, because it's a part of the slide that hits that little silver piece on the receiver.
Yeah, so I just put this up on top of it. No barrel or spring.
Mm-hmm.
Not hitting anything. Going backwards. See what happens when I pop up the magazine catch piece. Yeah, so I put this part right here is the magazine catch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll see it pop up. And that's what's going to feed the bullet, into my
Chamber.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you done the dry fire, was it always with the mag in or without the mag?
It was with that down when I put the. So I'm gonna just.
Well,
gonna
no,
test
I'm saying when whenever you would like do the whole dry fire thing.
No magazine.
No magazine. Oh, okay.
Hey, Ari, you might get your desk pop. Be sure you're recording.
Join the club. Join the club.
Well, no,
Join the club.
The reason why
Okay,
I asked
so I
is
can't even put the.
can't put the slide on with it up.
So I'll have to at least put the magazine in and then take it out. Test that theory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so interesting. That actually has a pin.
Really?
Gonna
give yourself
my
catch
security
finger?
my security 9 pin looks a lot different.
Gonna give yourself catch
All
finger.
right. So magazine's back out. No round.
It's working.
It might be a feature that it won't do that until like once you're done cleaning the gun.
But I've assembled and disassembled this like 5 times in front of you guys.
Mm-hmm. But at no point when you did that did you put the mag back in.
Go ahead, nod your head up and down and say, "Yeah, you're right, Zell."
You're not wrong.
That's a start.
You're not wrong. But at the same time, I'm going to test something else now.
And he's got a broken firing pin. Let's go!
No, that's going to be a day at the range. And like I said, I never. All right, so taking it apart now.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to fuck with that because that's not anything to do with this piece.
Mm-hmm. Try not to get yourself slide finger again.
But that's not the good way to do that, by the way. I know that's not.
I mean, it's your gun. You do what you want.
Yes,
Using
but
the slide catch to ASMR yourself.
I mean,
And then
Not
pop.
the right way to do that because that can actually break that. I'm not going to lie.
mm-hmm.
All right, so
Interesting.
It's not resetting. Put the mag in. Take
yep,
it out.
just put it in, dropped it out. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yep, I'm explaining for those at home who cannot see.
Okay.
Oh, that is a feature.
That's yeah. It will not cock after
But
cleaning and disassembling
weird,
until the magazine gets put in. It's because the magazine pushes up that one piece to let it know that it's ready to go.
You're gonna have to confirm it by just like putting more rounds at it through the range and be like, oh, it's still working. So, or if it's not working, then we have another issue in our hand. But
I mean, the only thing that I can say is that
at least it goes into full safe now. That was what I was needing it to do, and it wasn't doing it.
the only thing that I can think of is that it is a safety feature in regards to the fact that you break down the gun. It's an added step for.
All right, now for also reference, you can see I don't have a round in because this piece is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nice little features of the SR9 is once I put a round in, you can see that part pops up.
Here's a question for y'all. Going to go into OCW
OCW and CCW.
OCW and CCW a bit. How do you guys carry?
Thigh holster.
No, 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 no.
Fat.
Empty or lock load ready to go?
always lock loaded, ready to go.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for me. So I am on the OCW side, and for me, it's a lot easier to I have a Type 2 retention holster. So to go ahead and actuate what I need to actuate to get my gun, and then just clip the safety off as I'm moving the gun up. Way better experience than having to pretty much Israeli carry, which would be racking one as I'm bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just less of a it's satisfying, but it's more time consuming. And if somebody were to say, "Oh, hey, he's bringing a gun," I'm going to put my hand up and to make that gun less of a threat.
I mean, for me, usually right here, like the Han Solo holster.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would have to go and rack it.
Well,
So
most people is as you're bringing it up, you're sliding it back as you're pushing it out.
yeah, also
The
known
only
as
thing
the
I'll say is
Israeli
that
carry.
if you have a manual safety, all you need to do is just train with the manual safety.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's all one fluid movement. That way you're not having wasted movement, having an extra step. Milliseconds count when you're in a defensive situation. So it's best if you're going to carry one that has a manual safety, and there's reasons why I have a manual safety on mine, mostly because it's a Beretta, and Beretta 40 Smith & Wesson is a fun little full size that I have, the PX4 Storm. And it's got the ambidextrous safety on it, and it's kind of like it's very much like the M9 safety, in case no one's familiar with the PX4 Storm. And so you do have to, there's a training curve to it to make sure that you have it on and to take it off when you're drawing. That being said, again, depending on how you're carrying it, I carry it outside the waistband and just have a really large fucking shirt that's way oversized on me and call it good. And then during the winter, I have my Ecuadorian poncho, and I have that with the shoulder holster on.
Okay. Going back to the cleaning steps a bit. Once you've got the upper slide receiver off, the slide and receiver separated, taking the recoil spring and rod out, taking the barrel out, you want to take your, for lack of a better term, a degreaser, more or less. It's what helps break up the carbon and everything inside the barrel and outside. And do a once over on the inside and outside of the barrel and the inside of the upper slide and the lower receiver, just to, and specifically the slide rails. You want to make sure that those are cleaned fairly well so that you don't run into any bindings and jams.
That's when your toothbrushes will come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where you use the toothbrushes and the cotton swabs, like Q-tips.
And if you need a little bit of extra stiffness, you can use a toothpick, although it is way more tedious to do it that way. Sometimes it's necessary due to the carbon buildup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. Dirge brought up using a carbon pick. Just be very careful when using those.
You can get on Amazon brass dental tools. Actually, get those. Those are awesome.
Yes, however, be careful when using them on polymer lower receivers.
Just jab new holes in your polymer receiver. That's all you need to do.
Depending which gun you have, you can just print a new frame. 3D print.
Here's a fun,
yes,
fun
do the HK
problem,
slap.
I got a diagnosis problem for y'all.
Okay.
This 1911 that I'm cleaning right now.
Mm-hmm.
I either have a misfeeding problem or a misinjection.
Okay.
So either I will shoot the round and the round will fail to. That's what I forgot.
Have to take the barrel plug off.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Most people do, actually, with their first time on the 1911s.
Yeah, I've only ever disassembled those once when I was cleaning one of my buddy's guns. And I'm proud to say that I now know how to disassemble a 1911.
A buddy of mine, when I was in security and we were at a convention one time, he actually kind of got mad at one of the guys that we were staying with. And he almost lost himself a bit and had his 1911 in hand. I swiped it from him so quick and disassembled it and had it on the bed before he could really blink and process it. It was like like about 30 seconds. I don't even realize how fast I did it myself. I was like, no. I did it without even thinking, and it laid there in about as many pieces as Kadale has his, almost.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds about right.
Magazine.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, the first time I went to go take this apart, had no idea that screw existed.
Mm-hmm.
No idea I had to take this out after I took the retention pin.
Mm-hmm.
No idea I had to 45, 90 degree this so I can get this piece out.
Mm-hmm.
That was
And then
annoying.
the barrel slides out the front.
Right, and I almost have to manhandle it because of this piece.
Hmm. Well, once you got that piece like at the 90, it should be easy to pop off as well.
You would think.
I mean, that's how I always done it.
So back to my issue with this particular firearm.
How does the brass catch look? Doesn't look worn down.
You remember, this is rimfire. This is a 22.
Oh, okay then.
So that's my firing pin.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that I'm having is no ejection after fire to reload.
What
I
do you
will
mean?
have
Hold on.
to manually reload this.
So it's not ejecting?
Correct. And it's not the spring in the magazine. Because I thought that might have been it. It's not.
So it's not a feed issue for sure. If the round is, because you're saying the spent brass isn't coming out, correct?
That's correct.
That sounds like you have a catch problem.
And my brother had a friend at work on it. And I bought him some powder as payment. And it worked for about 1 or 2 firings.
Hmm.
And that was it.
Whenever you,
Go ahead, Haran.
I was gonna say, whenever it's put together and you pull on the slide back, is there any sort of like grinding or anything whenever you pull it back?
No, not that I've ever seen. And there's no filings on the lower. I don't know how well y'all can see this or not.
Well, it'll be on the upper receiver, because what it sounds like your problem is the catch that grabs the round or the brass casing after it's fired. Sounds like it's not catching it to pull it out.
So you're talking about this little piece right here, then,
Yes.
off on this side.
Yes. That
So
sounds like the. Usually, if that's your problem, it needs replacing. Usually.
Trying to see how I would go about taking this part out safely.
Let's see, is that stuff?
I also have a question. How's the magazine for it looking?
Standard 22.
Like, I've taken this apart. The spring works perfectly still.
No, see the thing is the problem that the magazine would give you would be a feeding issue where it's not loading the round properly. It wouldn't have a problem with the ejection of the round.
Right.
That's going to be that catch that
That
I
would
was
be like
talking
a
about.
double feed or a misfeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where you could look at the magazine or the loading ramp. For what your problem is either you have bad rounds and they're wedging themselves in too tightly, like they're expanding too much, or your ejection catch is not doing its job right.
The spring on it's fine. It's taking some work to move it, and let's not lose that nice little spring before I do anything there. I'm not going to take it apart any further than this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm not using any CLP. I don't know where the fuck my cleaners went.
It's probably in your car.
No, because I do all my cleaning here at home.
You don't keep any in a range bag or anything like that?
I don't have a range bag.
Oh.
I've got a rifle case that I'll generally take everything with me in. But right now, that's also one of my airsoft cases, so I don't have a dedicated range case yet. Probably in January, after the car's paid off, I'll start working on some of that.
But yeah, that would be step one to solving your issue, is in regards to that recoil or that ejection catch spring piece.
Which is, it's got a good toughness on it.
Mm-hmm. It's more of a matter of is it actually catching is the thing. So
as soon as I get this cleaned, I'll put some 22 in the magazine, and because it will eject it after I fired it, but it won't self eject. I have to manually eject.
Like you have to rack the slide yourself? Wait, so you have to eject you have to rack the slide yourself for it to eject?
Right. And reload, yes.
Are you sure it's not a like a hot load pistol?
What do you mean?
So like you have the subsonic, supersonic, and then you have what is known as hypersonic, also known as a overpressured round. Some 22 pistols only fire only are happy with the overpressured rounds.
How would I know?
Your recoil spring.
Yeah, recoil spring and owner's manual.
If your recoil spring's too strong, it's not going to pull to the back enough. Yeah. Yeah,
See,
if that's...
I never had that problem up until a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what the fuck do I do with the slide? Oop, put the little spring in before I forget.
Did you have to replace that big spring?
Not that I have ever had to, no.
Now, does it have a telescoping guide rod?
Explain.
The bottom.
So, yeah. So in the.
Oh, the recoil.
Yeah. So is there like a? Is it just a static rod, or is it a telescoping one?
Looks static.
Oh, it's static. Okay. Because I know that with some that are telescoping, you can actually get some dirt and grime and carbon inside the guide rod, and it doesn't collapse either fully or just at all if it's a really bad case. And that actually has a failure to extract errors when that guide rod is filthy and or no good.
But yeah, I'd say by the sounds of it, if it is ejecting when you manually rack the slide, but not when you fire it, it sounds like the slide's not having a proper travel time. It's not coming back far enough for it to properly eject.
It sounds like it's a hot load pistol. That's usually so. Like, not all rounds are created equal in the terms of the exact grain amount and the grain power. So small little discrepancies can definitely affect the life of your pistol and how it feels. That's why some manufacturers actually prefer some brands and manufacturers of ammunition, just because it plays nice and reliably with certain manufacturers.
I'm still listening. Just having a hard trouble with this retention pin.
Are you sure you just didn't buy a Springer 22 pistol?
No, it's Sig Sauer 1911.
I was gonna say it's not a high point, so that's already good news.
So it says caliber .22 LR HV. Does that
High
mean
velocity, there's a problem. It only works with high velocity ammunition, and not all. Even though it fits in the hole, like
yeah?
it'll see in yeet, but it won't. It's not. It becomes a bolt action with anything but high velocity. So yeah, it is a hot load pistol.
Okay, so how would I know?
You just get a 22. You find the little box, or if you're bougie, it's that little plastic little case thing. And it says .22 LR HV, or it'll actually spell it out.
Okay.
If you know what you're talking about, or knowing, or have a reloader guy that you get your ammunition from who knows what they're doing, they know exactly what to do to make a hot load and not blow up your gun.
Yeah, right now all of mine are in a spam can that I bought years ago. All 5,000 plus rounds of it.
I will say reloading 22s is.
I don't reload 22. It's not.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, especially when it's like 15 cents a round.
It's not worth the trouble.
I know, is it Remington? Yeah, I think it's Remington. They make a 22 high velocity. That's what I use to shoot squirrels and birds, and it's great.
Good little varmint round.
Yeah, long rifle high velocity is the best without actually getting to 22 Swift or even 22 Hornet.
I was just going to mention 22 Hornet.
You're welcome. Love you, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Which side I just took this out of.
But once you've done the basically got rid of all the gunk with the degreaser, going back to on topic a bit, so you, as normal fashion, kind of hop around like normal.
Right.
Wipe it off with your soft metal brushes, your toothbrushes, getting your cleaning rods to get all the carbon buildup out, and then use a paper towel, your barrel snake to clean up the residue. And you'll want to do it a number of times until basically the cloth comes out clean. Like if there's any blackness to the cloth, run it through again.
Or another piece of cloth.
Yeah, with another piece of cloth as well, until they come out clean. And then once they do come out clean, give it one more go over with the degreaser, just to be on the safe side. And then once you've made sure that the pieces are dry from the degreaser, I understand where Auto Hutun comes from. which I just realized left. Um,
No, he's still here.
oh, is he? Oh,
He,
that's
he
because
may not be physically here, but
that's because I was zoomed in. I'm going to get rid of that. Aruhutun does his thing. I always was taught that don't overuse gun oil, especially on the barrel or the interior. A little bit does go a long way. If, like was mentioned earlier, if you run your finger over the barrel and it comes off dry, you add a little bit more. If your finger comes off like dripping oil, use a paper towel with a light grip to run over it to clean up that extra. Use very, very little we lost Hoshi. Use very take a Q-tip to run a light coating of oil over your slide. You want to have a decent thin coating of oil on the metal parts if you're going to be storing your Tracy'uur for a while, just to help prevent rusting issues. If you're not going to be having it stored away for a while, you can kind of forego it on the more so on the slide itself, except for where the the slide actually glides across for the lower receiver. And then once you got all that, you just put it back together the way you took it apart, just in reverse order.
yeah, that's the problem I'm having with this damn pin right now.
Once you do that, you rack the slide a few times without any rounds or anything in it.
Function check.
And do a function check. If you have the ability to do the function check at the range, do so. Just be mindful that if the Tracy'uur does not go bang, don't be an idiot and look down the barrel and go, huh, why didn't that work?
Don't pull a Luke Skywalker and look at the most dangerous end of the damn thing. It's like,
Yeah,
immediately look down the barrel.
Yeah, if he had hit the button, we'd have no Star Wars. Enough said.
Did I hear Star Wars?
Talk about Luke Skywalker looking down the barrel of a lightsaber, and how that was the stupidest thing he could have done.
Right.
And how not to do it with your Tracy'uurs.
The base and a pair of pliers as a hammer.
Now, long guns. I'm gonna go bolt actions for right now. So your bolt action rifles, your 30-06s, your Remington 270s. You okay there? Yes, I saw that. Make sure you keep your hands well away from the strike zone if you are having to hammer something, dear listeners.
Unlike a certain somebody.
I did decide to at least mute myself while I was hammering that.
Mm-hmm.
I figured somebody was going to go silent when I whacked my finger by accident.
Yeah, I am watching. For bolt actions, make sure that they are fully. Once again, with any of these, I'm not gonna. I can just blanket across the board. Shotguns, long arms, handguns. First and foremost, remove the ammunition. Clear the weapon. That's going to be with any of these. That's the first thing you do is clear the weapon. You visibly check to see that there is no round in the chamber. If it's got a magazine, remove it. It's got an internal magazine. Kick out all those rounds.
And now that motherfucker's in there.
Good. Now, bolt actions. I had a Remington 270. I want to say. It had an external magazine, so take that out. Next thing you do is you remove the bolt. Now, I know there are some bolt actions that's harder to do than most. Take your time and make sure you do it right. If you find you are getting frustrated, stop, put it down, step away, go cool off, and then come back. Do not be afraid to look up instructions. Fellow VOD, as in brothers, do not be afraid to look up instructions when it comes to your Tracy'uurs. As much as I know, being a male myself and being like, instructions, who needs those?
The fucking instructions.
Exactly. Get the fucking instructions if you are having a hard time.
Or ask people, honestly.
Yeah, or ask.
Because the instructions ain't going to help shit with the problem I've been having.
Yeah, but this is more so like disassembling and all that kind of
True.
those kind of instructions. Once you've got that, you basically do the same process as with the handgun of cleaning the barrel. Run your degreaser inside the barrel. Run your barrel swab, your brushes, and all that. Do the same on the bolt. And add a bit of lube to the bolts when you go to put it back together. Put a few drops of gun oil down the barrel to help with preventing corrosion. And that's the main reason for putting the oil down the barrel, is to prevent rust and corrosion of it. I should specify that in regards to, well, why would you put something liquid down where the pew comes out of? It's to prevent the corrosion of the interior barrel.
And severe barrel corrosion manifests as barrel pitting, and that is to be generally avoided at all costs, because if a barrel starts to pit, you have to replace your barrel.
Yes.
Something else that's not part of my gun.
Especially if it's on the inside. External, it depends on how deep. I will say that. Because sometimes you can clean it up to get rid of the cancer. If it's on the exterior of the barrel. Any pitting on the inside, though, replace the barrel. That is experience I have with several different kind of, and I have seen some bad ones.
Dead for some bolt action. For anybody who has a Mosin.
Oh, you're talking to someone?
That if you have the Mosin with the
Mosin
wood,
Oh yes, take care of your stocks if they are wooden. Make sure.
Barkeeper's friend is generally to be used.
Let's go get my single action.
What I was gonna say is that with the Mosin, you have to be careful with the.
The what?
Yeah, with the Mosin, you have to be careful with the bolt. Because the way you take the bolt out with a Mosin, all you have to do is squeeze the trigger and pull the bolt back, and the bolt just slides out. So if you get if you're like out in the woods or something, you get something stuck on a trigger, your bolt will fall out, and then you lose your bolt.
Yeah, if it's not properly locked in place, yeah.
I mean, this isn't really to do with cleaning, but elder of mine said that a good tool to extract a jammed bullet is a painter's key.
Depends on the bullet.
And you definitely want, before you extract a round that failed to fire, you definitely want to see if the what is it called? The primer is like depressed or not, or if the primer is actually put in backwards.
Yes, if you run into a misfire and the round does not go off, verify. First off, set the gun down, let it sit for a few moments before attempting any investigation of it.
Well, yeah, set the gun down and take the magazine out.
Wait approximately, 2-3 minutes?
5 minutes is mine, but yeah, you don't have to necessarily wait that long.
5 minutes just to be on the safe side. We'll do that as a rule of thumb average kind of thing. If the gun hasn't gone off within those 5 minutes, carefully pull the action back or slide or whatever, the bolt, whatever the case may be. And this is handguns, shotguns, long arms. Verify if now on rim fires, this is a little harder to do, but verify that the primer has been struck properly. If it does not look like it is struck, then there's a good chance that your firing pin is broken. If it does look struck, you carefully lock the action to the rear and carefully, with a ramrod, slowly extract it by putting the ramrod down the barrel and slowly applying force to the bullet to push it out. Ooh, that's a nice one. That was a nice little revolver.
And they generally...
Still muted, by the way.
That makes a lot of sense.
From then on, when you extract the round, go ahead and put it in sand, because just because it hasn't fired in the last 5 minutes doesn't mean it may explode in the next 10.
Sand or water? Personal preference, water. And handle it with care.
On revolvers, particularly if it has the extraction pole, make sure that stays tight. I've actually had this one fall off, and it was a pain in the ass to get back on.
Yeah, the extracting rod.
Yeah,
it can be a pain. But yeah, bolt actions are actually fairly simple to clean. Basically just the whole barrel step of a handgun. Now, when you get into more modern firearms of semi-automatics like the AR, AK-47s, and those, all those fun different kinds, those are going to be a little bit more complicated. I'm going to use the AR platform because that is the one that I'm most familiar with. And with giving the instructions for an AR-15, you don't have to push both pins out. It's probably easier for cleaning purposes.
Yeah, it's up to personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing the barrel cleaning, then yeah, it probably helps to remove the upper receiver from the lower.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just doing basic semi-cleaning, if you're just cleaning the BCG or part of the upper, nah, you probably ain't gotta.
Mm-hmm.
Probably don't have to do all that.
So
Bolt cleaning, yeah.
we'll add the barrel cleaning into this. So what you'll do is you'll remove the, first off you'll have the bolts to the front. You'll remove the back pin, retaining pin, which will allow the barrel to swivel forward a bit, releasing it from the lower receiver. And then you can remove the front retainer pin. Afterwards, you can take the bolt assembly out along with the charging handle, and that's more or less sort of all the breakdown you really need. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, unless you're going in very highly in depth, you don't need to undo the.
This is more so like you just got done at the range kind of thing.
Yeah, basic cleaning. Your receiver pins, pop those out. Don't pop them all the way out. For one, your retention spring should work and not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Take your BCG out.
Explain what the BCG is.
Your bolt carrier group. Sorry, the piece that. So when you pull the charging handle, and I can actually go to your mind if you would like, and I can do a visual, but not going to help unless you're actually recording the video. So you pull the charging handle back, and you've got your magazine with live rounds. Send the charging handle forward. That's going to push your bolt carrier group, also known as a BCG, forward, and that's going to load your round to your barrel, to your chamber. So you're going to make sure your BCG is to the front, your bolt is to the front, meaning you don't have it pulled back into the buffer tube on the lower receiver because it's not going to come apart if you don't. Push your two pins out. Separate lower from upper, and then you can start disassembling it from there. And to do that, actually, it might help me just to be able to walk it. Just a sec.
I know whenever I shoot my AR, every time I shoot it, I really deep clean it just because. Why not? But the bolt carrier group, I always take that apart to get the firing pin out, just because that thing's usually usually if you don't clean it for a while, it's going to be black. And even after like a day of the range with my 50 Beowulf, it'll be pretty dirty. So I try to do that every time I shoot, just to have a nice clean firing pin.
All right, so I am back, and right now, for example, you can see my BCG is to the rear. So you're gonna pull your charging handle back, and your spring should automatically push it up to the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got 2 pins. Depending on how new the weapon is, you may have to get something to help push one. And for reference, this is actually an AR-10, but I'm not going to hold it against any of y'all. I can just fire a bigger caliber out of mine.
Mm-hmm. He's compensating.
No, I just happen to have over close to 1,000 rounds of 308, so I didn't want to build something I didn't have ammo for. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, compensating.
You can't get away with just using the normal standard 5.56.
Nope, just didn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I had a 308 bolt action, so I bought 308 ammo to go in it.
Yeah.
All right, so now I've got 2 pieces, my lower and my upper. Just going to set my lower aside. And now you're going to pull your charging handle to the back, pull your bolt carrier group out, and set it down. And you either have 2 choices. You can take the bolt carrier, your charging handle out, or you can lock it back in and just let it store there. From that part, you can now start cleaning your barrel without anything in your way. Just coming off the range cleaning, really the only thing you really got to clean is the barrel and your bolt carrier group.
Mm-hmm.
There is a pin right here that you can pop out, and you can also pop out this little piece, and those 2 things will allow you to take the firing pin out.
Yeah, that pen is the biggest pain to try to put back in.
Yeah, this one that I'm taking out right now that I probably shouldn't need to anyways, but I am.
Yeah, the one that holds the firing pin in.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing all that is not required.
Not on a field cleaning, no. But as a deep cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely advisable to take that out. Find me a little screw punch that'll help me out here.
For those who do have a side charging handle for an AR-15, I don't know if they're all the same, but like with mine, you have to take out a Allen key screw. That's the only way you can get your bolt out, is if you take that screw out and then you pop out the what do you call it? The thingamajigger your finger goes on when you pull it back. The thing.
The side charging handle.
Yeah, the little finger handle thing.
There we go. And this is one nasty firing pin because I have not cleaned this recently. But usually just a paper towel, some CLP, some gun lube, clean it right up. And it's just a little bit bigger than your standard AR-15 because it's a higher calibers pin. A lot of dead silence here right now. What can we do to fill it?
I mean, seeing as you're cleaning it right now, you can explain the parts to clean. Like
Out.
what to put the degreaser on and all that.
You can put degreaser on just about any one of these parts. It doesn't matter as long as you get 95% of it off. So, firing pin is now clean. You notice I did not take the pin all the way out from the retainer. Don't have to. Makes it a little bit easier to put it back in if you don't, to be honest. Then, if I can get this piece to pop out. Come on. Forgot what this piece is actually called. But it's the retainer for whatever this piece is of the bolt carrier. This thingamajig holds that thingamabob kind of thing. There we go. So, little hole right here is part of your firing pin assembly. Firing pin goes inside of that before you fire it. Basically,
I mean,
you have
Father O'Leary said the same thing to me.
Do what?
Nothing. Never mind. It was a bad joke. I'm just going this way now.
This pin goes in this hole? Kind of joke?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, basically, it sits in there like this. Now I can take this piece out, or I should be able to. There we go. Whew, yeah, this motherfucker nasty. Let's see. Yeah. I'm bad. I have not cleaned this at all since I've been to the range. I'm a bad Mando. I know. You can see the hole where that firing pin piece fits into, and that locks this in. And for reference, this is actually the piece. Come on. See if I can find. Got it. So this is how it looks inside of here, and goes in this way. This is actually what hits up against the round. This part faces the chamber. When it's loaded, this gets pulled back a little bit, fires, and releases, thus allowing you to shoot your freedom seed all over the place. See, I can do that too, Dirge.
Brings a whole new meaning to money shot.
Right.
Cha-ching.
On the topic of money shots, that's my first shift supervisor's nickname now, because he had a hydraulic hose on his lift burst. Yeah, he got hydraulic oil all over his face. So I started calling him Mr. Money Shot. He was not having a fun day when that happened. That was actually the second lift. That was actually the second forklift that did that to him. But it was the only one that got the money shot on him. So, I know I'm not using lube on this. Don't get off my nuts. But for the time being, I don't have any. But I can at least get the dirt and grime off of it. And that's really what you want to do. You can lube it up later. And the lubricant does act as a cleaner as well. I'm not saying it doesn't. And for the time being, because I don't have any snake rods or cleaning pieces, all I'm using is paper towel and elbow grease to clean this. Now I'm just cleaning the back side of the BCG, bulk carrier group, which honestly shouldn't need too much of a wipe down, seeing as most of the business is handled by the other end of it. Make sure that you line up your hole and you've got the right side of the hole facing up. You'll know which one is which when you go to put the pin in and the pin does not go in. This little pin does not sit in there right, it will not let you put it in. Take your firing pin, put it back in its little hole, and if you're really talented with it, just slide it down the front, push your retention pin back in very slowly, because you don't want to break it. There we go.
Or don't want to bend the end of it to where it bows outwards.
That is also correct. And at this point, now that I've got that retention pin started, I'm going to use my rubberized ends of my pliers, and then I'm going to pound it in. That's what we mean by use protection when pounding shit in. Use something to protect it. Protection is key.
With the little pen, what I found too that helps, that locks the firing pin in, is to use needle nose pliers.
Yeah,
and kind of like
as well.
Squeeze it and push it in, and sometimes you can get away with spinning the pin in it, and maybe move the firing pin back and forth a little bit because it might be.
I definitely pulled the pin back and used needle nose to push that retention pin back all the way in. So now I have a clean but not lubed bulk carrier group. And a dum-dum laying beside me.
I use a bullet with a backwards primer as a dum-dum.
Oh no, that I call the dog the dum-dum.
Oh, okay.
And be careful. Something I gotta say, because it just reminded me of when my dad was doing his AR-15 one time a few years back. Make sure that you put your bulk carrier group in the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad accidentally put his in backwards.
Hit the wrong button. But my question is, how did he manage to put it in the wrong way? I'm kind of confused.
I'm curious on that too. There's only one way to put it in.
No, it'll go in backwards.
Oh yeah, okay, I can agree with that, but it's not gonna seat properly.
That's what he was trying to figure out, is why it wasn't seating properly. It's like, why isn't this? And then after a few moments, he had to take a smoke break, and I was sitting there with him. I was looking at it. I was like, Dad, it's on backwards.
Oh. You're trying to put the BCG in backwards. You're trying to put the pin to the rear.
Oh no, I was trying to reassemble it myself, and it was like, why isn't this working?
I gotta head to bed, guys.
And
I'll talk to you guys later.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy, Otter.
Now that I work second shift, I can stay up till midnight or later again.
You bastard!
Take her easy.
Do what?
I was just always saying take it easy.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, just make sure that you're putting things in the right direction.
For example, the AR-15 or AR-10, look for the gas tube on top of the bolt carrier group. That goes then forward towards the barrel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unfortunate. Like half of these are what we're talking about are double entendre.
Yeah, it's been hard not just to laugh hysterically.
Till the next one.
Shotguns are fairly simple for the most part, almost similar to bolt action rifles. Lock the action to the rear, clean the barrel, similar corrosion, wipe it dry, add the oil. That's pretty much all you got to do with shotguns for the most part.
Most semi-automatic shotguns are actually self-cleaning, so all you have to do is clean the bore, also known as inside the barrel,
Mm-hmm.
and you're pretty much golden.
Yeah. You may want to just take a wipe down to a cloth to the inside of the action, but you don't need to go too in depth.
After like every 20 years for a shotgun, definitely like unless you're wiping down every shell of ammunition you're putting in the magazine tube, it's actually in good faith to take apart the magazine tube and clean that and make sure there's no extra shmoo in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, pass the function check. Cool.
Yeah, I figured y'all didn't want to listen to that while you were talking.
No, we did.
Oh, that's the SMR everyone comes and listens for when we talk about Tracy'uurs.
Just don't start moaning, all right?
Oh, too late.
Oops, I flagged all of you. My bad.
That's really all I can think of when it comes to like cleaning. More advanced cleanings.
Hey, I'm
I
supposed to
would.
do this.
What is that? The charging handle?
No, that's the scope.
And I don't think that's supposed to. I think you might need to tighten that down a bit.
Yeah,
Oh, it just walks 0.2 MOA.
right.
There is one thing I want to say with, I forgot if it's the AR-10 or AR-15. It's a design flaw with it, just so everybody knows. If you, well, if you, because I learned it when I was working at the sporting store, and guy showed me that if you hit the stock when it is the bolts locked open,
Mm-hmm.
you hit the stock, it will automatically, like, the lock won't work. Like, it'll set the lock off, basically. That if you hit it, I can't remember how you say it, but you hit the bottom of the stock,
Bump
then
stop.
it'll bolt forward.
Yeah, so if you have the BCG locked to the rear, you can slam it either on the dirt or your boot, and it'll go forward. I've never ever.
That too.
Well, it's I've never actually had that fire a weapon ever. All from M16 in the Marine Corps all the way down to my personal super shorty is never ever fired the weapon, and it is deemed safe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what did I do with the damn? I don't know where my star bit piece for that went.
Your torque bit?
Yeah, I thought I put it in my 3D print toolkit.
Maybe they'll give you an excuse to clean your desk.
No.
You just looked at me as like shots fired.
That's just like, yeah, I know the Destiny's clean. I know.
Let's see here.
Like I said, I thought I had put it in one of these 3D print things.
Let's see. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours. Are we gonna want to make this a 2-parter or 3-parter? Because
I mean, we can switch into Mando's After Dark now mode if we want.
yeah, because I was gonna say, as far as the topic, we've still got training in use, proper storage, and safe handling, CCW or OCW to talk about, and I think
Okay, you're talking about like actually making the episode a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, we'll just switch into Mando and After Hour for the next 30 minutes to an hour or so.
Probably.
Yeah, sadly I have to duck out from. I have just other things I have to get to.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
take it easy.
All right,
Hey, take
I'll
it
see
easy,
you
man.
gentlemen later. Yeah, you too.
Take care, Unload.
See ya.
Alright, so
So, for any of those video game fans out there, Final Fantasy VII just released its. Well, I don't know if they released the expansion itself, but they announced the expansion to Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I just learned that the voice of Vincent, everyone's fun-loving vampire, demon-changing individual, is being voiced by Matt Mercer.
I was about to say, don't tell me.
Markiplier.
No, I was thinking Cage 6, Firefly actor.
Nolan.
Yeah.
Christopher
Nathan
Nolan.
Fillion.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion, there you go.
I cannot remember if...
No, it's not Nathan Fillion. No,
Yeah, it is.
Well, it is Nathan Fillion is who you're talking about, but the voice of Vincent is Matthew Mercer.
Still slide.
Who, as of late, has been doing very good in the voice acting side of things, as also being the voice of Ganondorf, I believe, in the new Legend of Zelda game.
Oh, fun fact, the voice of the Arbiter is taking over for Commander Zavala.
Oh, really?
Riddick passed away.
Wow, I'm actually surprised that they did that.
You mean the guy from Modern Warfare always going, Ramirez?
No, the Arbiter.
Ramirez!
Arbiter from Halo.
Were it possible, Spartan?
Were it only possible, Spartan.
Not the, get your S to McBurger Town, not that one, no?
Nope. I mean, I know which one you're referring to, but no, I prefer him as the Arbiter.
He did do a really good job with the Arbiter's voice line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still sliding, but everything's tight. That's kind of weird.
That's like my first date.
Not much I can do on that now. What is?
I gotta ask.
On that now.
How many of y'all actually like the way your voice actually sounds?
I hate it.
Hell no.
Like when you listen to when you listen to your voice recorded.
No, I don't think anybody likes the recorded voice.
It always sounds alien. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I have way less bass than what I think I sound like.
See, for me, I sound like I'm higher than what I actually am.
Yeah.
Like I feel my recorded voice, what I hear or what other people hear, is lower. However, when I am sick, I really wish that that's how my voice sounded like all the time.
Right.
I don't know. Is that just
Like,
a
I
guy
don't know if
thing?
you know who it is, but Eric Holloway, the bass guy, that's how deep I wish my voice could go.
The what guy?
That bass guy. Like, do you know the song Valhalla Calling, Miracle of
Oh
Sound?
yeah.
Him, Peyton Parrish,
Mm-hmm.
and Eric Holloway did a three-way song, three-way version of it.
Yeah, I know which one you're referring to.
That's who. I wish my voice was that deep. And apparently, I cut my camera off when I
Mm-hmm.
adjusted it, but oh well, don't need it open now. So I've got 3 partially cleaned weapons now, better than what they were.
So here's a question: how many times a year do you guys do equipment checks? Like I do them almost monthly, maybe sometimes some pieces weekly.
Equipment checks. What are those?
Yeah, they're gonna need to elaborate on equipment check.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. Like checking your firearms, checking your lights,
Yeah,
any
like
kind of emergency
I check
stuff.
my go bag stuff, keep up on like expirables and that kind of stuff.
I mean, that for the most part should be done monthly.
I haven't had the money to really get that far to get any of that stuff.
Same, sadly.
So my equipment checks are basically, oh, I went to the range. Okay, let's clean, or not.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they would be different for each of us, kind of thing, because we each have our own needs, right, and legalities. Like here, it's harder to own firearms than in other places. Hey,
Yeah, I still want to get my hands on this armor system.
Don't tell me it's the Halo set.
No. No, it's this Origin from Parasolet.
Man, there we
I'm
go.
sharing my screen currently so others can see.
Yeah, I see that.
Like looking at this thing is like it actually looks comfortable. And the thing is I usually hate cod pieces. I'll admit I hate freaking cod pieces. But that looks fine to me. I think when it comes
I have
to
a rule when it comes to cod pieces. It has to be a lime green kangaroo head with floppy ears.
let's say that's just asking for a target.
Well, you need to have at least the ears.
No, you're just
I
making
mean,
the
if you guys
goalposts.
all knew me in person, you might think this is for the betterment of the species.
I mean, from the sound of it, you might have already procreated.
I can neither confirm nor deny this allegation.
That you have kids?
It's a possibility, you know. I spread my seed around a little.
But yeah, I've sent a message to this company. Granted, they haven't said anything back, and I'm sadly not expecting anything really. Sadly, but I really do want this armor system for my EDC personally.
It does look kind of nice.
Though I probably want to get it in like a black or a blue.
Yeah, OG olive drab is not a well-hiding one for the urban environment.
Yeah, camo kind of sticks out far too much.
I still really want to get that DevTac helmet, man. That thing is sick.
DevTac helmet?
The Ronin tactical helmet, they're in 3rd gen, and it's being looked at by U.S. Rangers, British Special Forces, and Canadian Special Forces. Gives you 80 some odd % coverage, ballistic coverage of your head. I've personally seen video of it taking a 357 point blank, and it the frame shattered, but technically it didn't breach.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh.
$3,300 later.
Holy fuck!
I think he just put a little bit more seed out there.
Maybe a little battle boner, you know.
I think I just money shotted. That part probably needs to come out.
But what's cool is you can take those cheek pads off so you can get some more purchase closer into your sights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My issue with it, personally, is the visibility.
What, being able to see out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your
See,
field of vision with
display in.
Hmm?
That's where you would want to be able to put a HUD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure some of the future tech they're using now is probably easily integrated because those lenses actually come out they're replaceable.
Yeah.
Because they're meant to take birdshot and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're not full on.
Yeah, but you know, how often in a battle scenario that you're taking birdshot? Oh, I mean,
Let's download the brochure.
Well, I think it's more kind of you're not going to get crap in your eyes, or it's less likely, you know, which is a big deal. Shrapnel, I think, was the word I'm looking for. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my share screen.
well, so you don't turn into Ralphie from The Simpsons. Oh no, no, man!
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Oh boy.
All right, so no joke. If given the chance, I totally would love to get a copy of the Starship Trooper armor, just because it would be dope.
You want to know something funny about Starship Troopers armor? They used
Let's hear it.
They used it in the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy series.
That's true. Yeah, and then they used it in Firefly and painted it purple.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about the original Starship Trooper or the animated ones?
The original, the live action.
Would you
Live
like
action,
to
yeah. There was actually a preceding anime from the 80s that was more like the books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the real Starship Trooper armor. Ooh. You want to talk about Spartan armor? That's got nothing on Starship Trooper armor. Oh boy.
Yeah, it was described to be basically a giant mechanical gorilla. That's why they would say things like a bunch of apes, and it had jump jets. So you'd be like, that's why they'd be like, see you on the bounce.
And mini nuke launchers.
Yeah, I ask Santa for that every year. He
Yeah.
never pays what he owes.
What, mini nukes?
No, the OG from the book, Starship Trooper armor.
Oh.
I'll be
Not
honest.
definitely the mini.
I'll be honest. I feel like we'll get Spartan armor before we get that.
We're really close to a lightsaber too.
I have a
Mm,
feeling you're going to start seeing some interesting, like, actual mecha come out of South Korea.
oh, Japan's got it there too. It's interesting to see the different nations that are actually like building mechas.
Did you guys watch the big battle bots thing with the different nations, Japan and America?
Mm-hmm. Where they put it through an obstacle course kind of situation. They didn't really go head
Yeah,
to
and then like a
head.
heavily scripted. Yeah, and then a heavily scripted like combat scene. Yeah, it was pretty dope though.
Mhm.
Either way.
Yeah, like I didn't take the combat scene. I knew don't take this for like a grain of salt. This is just for show. However, everything of like the obstacle course and all that's take that for what it was. But it's interesting the design take and the thought process that went into making like what was important and why certain aspects were chosen over others. Because Japan went with like a four-legged wheeled kind of mech, whereas the US went with your bipedal walking mech.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of. It had
So
legs, but it just used a big set of pillars at the bottom. But it
Mm-hmm.
definitely looked more like a mech warrior mech, not just like a Leo type that's been altered.
Mm-hmm.
what I'm hearing is Japan went Fallout 4 with a Sentry Bot, and the U.S. went Empire with an AT-ST.
More Avatar.
Oh, even better.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is South Korea? Go look at the South Korea mech. It's fucking nuts. It looks like those hazard suits from Avatar. Although it was also partly designed by the guy who designed those too. So there's that.
Oh yeah, this thing.
The only problem they're having, last I heard, was keeping it upright, untethered.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they've got this big ass fucking thing atop.
But that project also has gone dark, like Black Book dark, for 5 years. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's the Japanese one.
The Kratos or the new one with the electric drive?
Um,
Your connection is not private. Are you stealing McDonald's Wi-Fi again?
no, I'm at home. Apparently, it doesn't like what I'm using. I'm not sure which version this is, but I'll be honest, it reminds me of. Oh, here's correct.
What the fuck?
Here's the one from that the two. The U.S. went with tank treads. My bad. They didn't go walking. They went with a tank tread.
Yeah, and the second generation has like sculpted Judge Dredd pads and stuff. It looks really dope. That was just a proof of concept.
Hmm. Yeah, they basically had a giant paintball war.
Yeah, and a jousting match.
Yeah.
I got me and my stepkid to sit down and watch it. She was so stoked.
Hmm. Now I would say that in reality, quite honestly, I think the Japanese robot would have won or would win almost.
Especially if it had alert systems. Yeah, I agree.
Well, main reason I say that is in regards to the protection of the pilot. the cockpit of the Japanese robot definitely appears to have the better coverage, whereas the Americans is a cage. So very much exposed to the element.
Yeah. Traded a Nova Bomb for a Chaos Reach. Yeah. Fuck that person up.
All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see you all later.
Yeah, I think Mando After Hours kind of gone dark, and so we should probably call it, actually, because...
Yeah.
So, thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Tracy'uur Cleaning and Maintenance. Next time will be the proper handling, storage, and
And maybe a language lesson. We'll see.
Training in use, proper storage, and safe handling, CCW versus OCW. Maybe that'll end up being a part 3. Because there's a lot that can go into those as well.
Oh, yeah.
But
there's a lot that can go into storage.
Mm-hmm. But thank y'all for joining us on this episode of
The Mandalorian
Keepers of the Way Religious Movement podcast. We haven't been very language oriented these past few streams because one of the Johad Saad that's usually in charge of those has been on a much needed sabbatical, I'm sure. I don't wish to speak for her.
Nope.
But
needed personal time is what we were told, so that's
that's all was needed to be said, and we respect that that's what's needed, and we are here when she wishes to return. But until then, check us out on our link tree in the description. That'll take you to our Discord, our Twitter, Facebook, Armorers Guild. I believe it's got the store, possibly?
Depends on which store you're referring to.
The one that's got like the jerseys and shirts being added to and all that?
Yeah, it should be on there. If not, the Facebook does.
Mm-hmm. Our TikToks are MeWe. I'm still trying to remember if that's the proper.
It is. I best my knowledge, it's still not up and running fully.
Yeah, it's still not up and running fully, but slowly but surely it is getting there if you wish to join that for when it does fully launch. There's that. I'm going to be talking to some of the Allure as I am now on Blue Sky.
What is
the new Twitter?
Oh,
but better.
Yeah.
Let's say one thing to add before closing out the podcast is if anybody does need to ever talk to anybody, having a rough time,
we are all here.
Yes.
Yep. Always talk to somebody. Never feel like you're over pushing it or making it awkward or feeling like you're dropping a high load on somebody. There's always going to be people do care and are always willing to listen and help, and just you have to reach out and we're always open.
Our community on the Discord is very much open to one's mental health assistance. We are not professionals, but a lot of us know how to get one the professional help they need,
Or
or
honestly, some people just
just
need
being an ear, just being an ear for you to vent to. Sometimes that's all you need is just someone to say
right.
it, to be like, hey, talk to me.
I'm having a rough time, man. But hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So some people
And
need that.
there's always a good chance that someone also went through a situation just like that, and they can always give advice and give what
Mhm.
help, what they can help.
And get some help and guidance. I mean, your mental health, your physical health, take care of yourself. Do not push it off. If you have to go speak to a professional, please, please, please
Do
do
it.
so. It is
Like the
not
immortal words of Palpatine. Do it.
it is not weakness to ask for help. In my honest opinion, it shows greater strength when one admits they need help than it does to not. When you need help and you don't act on it, this is going to sound mean, but it's quite honestly a bit of the truth. It is foolish not to seek help when you need it.
Every state does have their, if it's really bad, they suicide hotline. If you ever need to
Mhm.
talk to them, look it up. They all have, I believe, per state.
There is now a universal worldwide all in one number for the suicide hotline now, actually.
Good.
Oh,
That
I just thought it was like a state.
they have now consolidated worldwide into one big suicide hotline number. Now, something tells me that yes, there is still individual states, country lines out there, but there is also a universal hotline that if you are needing that help, it is there. And I will look it up and I will even put it in the description of this channel or of this episode.
If I think I found it. It looked like 988, but I could be wrong.
Let's see. Yes. I believe 988. 988. Now, this might be just a US thing. But it would not surprise me if. Um,
Yeah, all I've seen was for languages was English and Spanish, so it might be a North
mhm.
American.
Okay, so for now, if you're in the North American uh, area of the world, 988 is going to be the number. But for those in other parts of the world that are part of our movement, do not hesitate to reach out. Do not be afraid of rejection. We are here. We will listen. We are Vode, brothers and sisters under the helm.
And all equal under the helm.
Indeed, all are equal. Rights and lefts. Sorry.
And the middles.
But that being said, take care of yourselves. Stay armored. Always seek improvement mentally, physically. Stay armed. Stay armored. Always be willing to take care of foundlings. Be willing to spread the word in a positive manner and not a forceful one. And this is Alnamore, Ibekruni, this is the way.
This is Kadaleke Bor. Ibekruni, this is the way.
Ranyam Kidded, Ibikaruni, this is the way.